everyone, my name is Shalise, also known as Mommy Trader here on YouTube. Hey Investie Besties, welcome back to the channel. If you are new around here, welcome. And if you are a returning Investie Bestie, thank y'all so much for coming back. I do appreciate you guys being here. My hubby and I are first generation millionaires. We became millionaires officially last August of 2021. I actually made a video about it and my husband was featured in that said video. So I have it somewhere up on the screen. I'll have a direct link to it down in the description box below. So go back and take a look at it. You'll get to see him and maybe I'll have him on a live. Like if we get to 4,000 subscribers, I'll do a live with him. Okay, now he will be joining us for a private live with the summer study group members. So thank you guys so much for supporting me and for joining, and I will send those links out. So if you attend at least 3 summer study sessions, you will get that link to the last session in that summer study group, and my husband will be in that live and we'll have like a Q&A. You guys can ask him or me or both of us a bunch of questions if you want to. Okay, but today's video we're going to be talking about a question that I got and I actually thought it was a really interesting question, and we're going to be talking about, you know, my thoughts on good debt versus bad debt. And I'm a big proponent of really knowledge, really expanding this, really seeing what the potential of what your money can do, right? At the end of the day, as investors, as wealth builders, we're trying to make sure we leave a legacy. When we pass on something that will give our descendants, our children, our grandchildren, nieces and nephews, family members, or just people that are close to us, a leg up in life, a head start in life. And so I figured, you know what, let me sit down. This video is not going to be edited. It's really all coming out of here. I don't even have my little postcard in front of me. I'm literally going off of here. So I wanted to just give my spiel on like debt in general. And also guys, the 30th of July is our 3rd year anniversary of being debt free. You know, being debt free took us a couple years. I just want to do a recap because I know a lot of you asked me about like, what was that like for us? So I can tell you, and I've shared my story on here before. I shared my financial biography, but being in debt really for me and my hubby, mostly me because I had more debt, was stemmed from a lot of childhood issues. I didn't have a whole lot. So as a result, I was spending like a mad woman. I mean, going out, purple shoes, purple purse. I've shared this before. Purple outfit. I mean, dressed. Okay, back in the day, y'all know if you're like 30 and over, you either did this or you had family who was like, back in the day we dressed. Okay, when we went out somewhere, it didn't matter if our lights was about to be shut off, we were dressed. Okay, we were looking nice, right, and tight. But after a while, especially when I had my daughter, and getting an eviction notice on the front door was, I think, like my sick and tired moment, as Dave Ramsey always talks about. And I do credit a lot of our ability to getting out of debt to him and the snowball method. It really does work. It's really super motivating when you can see like, I paid this card off, I paid this loan off, I paid my car off, and then keeping it paid off, which is key. But again, we got the eviction notice on the door and we made enough money. So that was the interesting part, is that we made enough money. So how do 2 people with a small baby making over 6 figures have an eviction notice on their door, but have a closet full of purple shoes and, you know, white shoes, black shoes, purses, all that type of stuff? And I think what it helped me to realize is that debt, and I'm going to talk about good debt versus bad debt in a moment, but just the debt that we were carrying, the kind of debt, the consumer debt that we were carrying with literally 20.99% interest rates, was not a good place for us to be financially. And I always talk about we started late, and we started late because 30 years old was like the official, like that's what going to be our new beginning, our new way of doing things, because we really had to have that moment of about to be thrown out on the street. And I think a lot of people have to have a sick and tired moment before they actually kind of pivot into the right direction. Okay, and how paying minimum payments really isn't helping you much. And that was a biggie for me because I was proud of making my minimum payments every month. I was like, bam, I made my $50 minimum payment. I'm good to the next month. But I didn't realize when you're paying an exorbitant amount of interest that your minimum payment isn't really doing much. And I remember going back like last year or so, because I keep some of our old statements. And on the statement, it actually had like, if you keep paying this minimum payment, you're going to be paying this $1,000 bill for the next 7 years or something like that. And I was thinking, this is insane. But again, I was proud of myself for making a minimum payment. And be proud of yourself, especially if you're just starting out on this journey. You want to make sure you do slow and steady because you want to be consistent. But when we started to get raises or bonuses, switch jobs, the tax refund, which was a blessing, it really helped us, because once we got our mind right, every time we got the tax refund, because let me just tell y'all, in my family, having a tax refund, getting a tax refund, expecting a tax refund, especially if you have children, that was like a second Christmas, okay? Everybody was fly in the month of February and March, okay? All of us, all the kids in school, we were going out to eat, getting our hair done, clothes, shoes, electronics, toys, all the bits. But come May, we were back on the struggle bus again. And so we realized we got to be better managers of our money. So we would take the refund and we would literally set maybe $100 aside to get caught up on like baby diapers and wipes. Maybe we wanted to set some money aside to get stocked up on like pantry type of items. But the bulk of it, like 98% of it, 95% of it went to paying off something and keeping it paid off. That was the key for us too, is keeping it paid off. Because if we paid $1,000 off on a credit card and then the next month charged it back up again, it really wasn't helping us. We was taking a step forward and taking 2 steps back. We also had to really, and this was me mostly, really look at emotional spending, because if I was sad, if I was happy, if I was excited, I would swipe my card. It could be on food, clothes. If I was feeling good, that's my daughter, said mama, okay? I was buying her a whole new wardrobe. Like, really? She just said mama. Take a picture of it and just celebrate that. But no. And then if you have little girls, you don't just get the little outfit. You got to get the shoes and the socks and the hair bow. I mean, all this type of stuff. And so as a result, we were, like I said, taking a step forward and 2 steps back. But once we started to realize, like, while we were spending the way we were, really seeking counseling and therapy for childhood issues, really getting under control emotional spending. And this is why my husband and I get personal money each month, because a lot of times I may not want anything, but when I'm feeling my moments, when I'm getting in my moods and I just want to buy something, whether I want to go to Marshall's or Home Goods, I just want to roam the aisles, I have my personal money so that I can do that. I'm not racking up credit or anything along those lines. And yes, I get my personal money in cash. My husband does his via his card, because he's much more good with that. Again, you got to know yourself, right? I use cash for my personal money. And when we started to realize, I'm switching to good debt now, because this video is already at almost 10 minutes. Good debt, I started to really learn about when I started to become more involved in investing. And I realized that a lot of the big investors that we look up to, like Warren Buffett, like Peter Lynch, even some of the great companies that we love, like Apple and Tesla, carry debt. It's just how they use it. So what they do is that instead of using their cash, they take out debt with low interest rates. So I realized that Apple was borrowing millions and millions of dollars on like a 3% interest rate, 4% interest rate. I'm like, wait a minute, what? And what they did was they're able to use that money, put it back into their business, and then get a gain from the products and the services that they have. They can pay the loan back with the 3%, but the return on their investment is getting them 20%, because they know if they put out a new product, they're going to have people lining up to buy it. Apple watches, Apple phones, the iMacs, everything. And so I figured, maybe I can apply that to our lives as well. So we realized that, we want to get into real estate. Most people that get into real estate borrow debt. But the great thing about it is that we borrow it cheaply. So I'll give you an example. So the rental property we bought last year, the interest rate on that was 4.25%, which is really, really good for an investment property. Remember, investment properties have an interest rate that is higher than primary interest rates because it's considered an investment. The bank is saying, this is kind of risky, so we're going to make this interest rate a little higher in case you default on this loan, because we know if something happens in your life, you're going to take care of your 4 walls before you take care of a rental property. And that's fair, because that's what most likely would happen. That's common sense, right? So what we decided to do was, if we got and this is talking about the house we bought last year, We got the pre-approval for the loan on the second rental property at 4.25% interest rate, but we get about 15% return interest on the money we put in that property from the rent that we get. So we walk away with that property we bought last year. We walk away with $700 net. That means after we pay the mortgage, we have no PMI because we put down 20% on the property. So we really walk away with about 15 to 20% in terms of return. So if we took a mortgage out at 4.25%, we're getting a return back every month of about 15%. You see how using a debt in a good way can actually benefit you. Now, there's some tips. You have to have great credit, okay? You can have good, but it has to be at the higher end of good if you want to get into real estate investing. You need to have excellent credit, because the better your credit, the better your interest rate is going to be. Remember, I just said that the interest rates on investment properties are super, super higher. And if you want to get like a multi-family property, so like a duplex, triplex, things like that, is going to cost you even more. I think it's 25% down on those types of properties, and the interest rate may be a little higher as well for that. So again, it's just really looking at using your credit to your advantage, right? It's really leveraging your credit to your advantage. We have excellent credit. We have 3 mortgages. Excellent credit. We use our Amex every month. I'm telling you guys, we probably put like $5,000 on this Amex card every month, but we paid the Amex card off every month. So what the credit bureaus like to see is that you have good debt. And when I say good debt that really will give you a greater return in the long run. So like student loans, a lot of times it's considered good debt because people go to college, but they may have an income that may, garner a greater return, so they could pay back their student loan and be able to move forward in their life. Another good debt would be mortgages, okay? Usually real estate, 9 times out of 10, whether you live there or use it as an investment property, the value goes up over time. A lot of people's wealth were created through real estate. A lot of the Vanderbilts and the Morgans and who else, some of the Bushes and the Rockefellers, all those type of people, a lot of their physical properties are still standing today, and most of those people are deceased. So again, I love real estate because it will outlive you if done correctly, and the return on that investment, because real estate usually goes up in value over time. Again, you take out a loan paying 3%, 3.5%, 4%, but your return or your ROI is easily 10%. Okay, this is using debt for your advantage as well. Some people will take out loans to start up their own businesses. Now, this could be a little risky, but in many cases it does work, because if you take out a small business loan to help get your business started and up and funded, and you are not just making revenue, but you are knocking out your earnings out the park, your customer base is up, your services or the products that you're selling is getting better and better and better. These are some of the things that we've done, that we've researched, that really have been helpful to us in terms of using good debt to really elevate our investments. And so every time we plan on buying an investment property, we plan on taking a mortgage out for it, depending on the interest rates, because right now it's about 8% for an investment property, and the Fed has no qualm about decreasing them anytime soon. Now, Jerome Powell was saying when they see inflation start to come down and the economy start to stabilize, at that point they will go ahead and decrease the interest rates. But I mean, you guys look around you, you see gas came down a little bit. And I was telling my husband the other day, side note, I was like, dear, I'm so happy gas is now at $4.85. And he was like, do you hear yourself? We're happy that gas is at $4.85. I mean, I'm grateful, but when I'm used to gas being $3.30 or $3.29 and I'm happy because it's $4.85, really tells you about the state of the economy. We have a long way to go. And again, I can't foresee the future. I'm not a financial advisor, but again, I want to see gas back in the threes before I really, really believe that inflation is kind of getting under control and the economy is starting to stabilize. So that's my little spiel on good debt versus bad debt, and why we do leverage debt. Again, not consumer debt. We're talking about debt that can really elevate our wealth over time. Real estate. If you go to school or go back to school to get into a career path that will help you, buy a home, maybe to start investing for retirement, that is considered good debt. Credit cards, especially unsecured credit, personal loans, payday loans, please stay away from that. Those types of things work against you, whereas these good credit sources work for you. So I really said all of that from the top of my head. So I hope that answered your questions to the person that asked me about it. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, because I know y'all got some questions, leave them down below and I'll be more than happy to get back to you guys. Again, if you want to join the Patreon, we have our meetings coming up at the end of July. We have our general Patreon group, and we also have our dividends group meeting at the end of this month. And also, if you are a beginner investor and you want to study with us, we have our summer study groups as well. Information is down below in the description box. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and y'all already know next time I'll see y'all in the next one. Okay, have a good one. Bye bye.